Hello folks, Ching Eaton here. It's one of those blustery fall days, so bear with me. I'm going to try to block the wind with my Cherokee with the door open. Anyway, this is my little video on Zizihpus Jajuba, the Chinese date Jujube, they call it J-U-J-U-B-E. Started getting interested in these when I'm selling chestnuts to the local chestnut guy, the Asian grocery stores that buy them, and they kept after me to grow these things to sell to them. So I went ahead and relented, and I've got about, I don't know, 15, 18 plants out here, mostly little seedlings like this. And what will happen is when you plant a big tree, the roots will sprout, and they'll come out a couple feet away from the tree and sprout up, and then you can dig them up. So here's a larger specimen here of a variety called Leave, which is like the most common commercial variety of jujubas that are out there. It will be self-pollinating, self-fruitful, so if you plant one, that's really all you'd need. So the Chinese Jajuba, which is what we're growing, is cold hardy down to zone 6, which is where we're at, up to 10. They have had some success growing them up in the Pacific Northwest. There's another Jajuba, Mauritania, I believe it's called. It's a tropical version, so you can't really grow it in most areas in the United States. Some about these plants are that they come out kind of late in the spring. Everything else is already leafed out and you're still waiting for them to grow. But then once they get going, they outcompete everything else and just grow like weeds. So this tree, I don't have any connection to them, but I got it from Dave Wilson Nursery, I believe. And it was a pretty large thing to have bare root, and I was a little skeptical. But after it settled in down here, it just took off, and it doubled in size probably this year. I don't know if you can see the branch starts all the way down here at that V and goes all the way up there. That's this year's growth. So I don't know what that is. It's about 4 feet maybe. Could be more. What else? The fruit will start out green, and then over time it change to a red, and then that red will actually start pruning up, and it's still edible even when it's almost dry. As far as the flavor of them, they're kind of mild. You get an initial burst of sweetness, and then compared to our American apples, you'd be saying, well, this is pretty bland tasting. Well, inside that fruit are these pit-looking things, olive pit appearing structures, and inside of those will be 2 of these little lentil-shaped seeds. In general, when you go buy these at a Asian grocery store, they'll be growing this Leave variety, and there will be no seeds inside that pit. You break it open, you'll see 2 little hollow spaces because it didn't need a pollinator, and so there was no reason to set actual viable seed. The texture is about like an apple. Apparently in China they have maybe 1,000 varieties of these. It's a Southeast Asian area. They've cultivated them for a long time. So the varieties that we have around here, again, the Lee is the dominant variety. There's Lang, Sugarcane. What else do I got here? Sherwood, G866, Honey Jar. I'm going to risk the wind here and go over and show you all a little grafting I did this year, this spring. When the root stock was about the size of a pencil, I came with some cuttings, and of course the cuttings have to be the same size, about like a pencil would be. And I put one of them down here on this branch, and I put one of them down here on this branch. And so what I did, I put down 2 different kinds of grafts. I hope that's going to show up. On the left, I just split the little stick right in half and shoved a tapered wedge in there. And on the right, I cut it at a diagonal and did the same with the cyanwood to see if I'd get better results one or the other. And so here's my graft right here, and it took fine, calloused over. And then down below here, there's some kind of monkey business going on where the stem has died back, but on the back side it's still alive. And it pushed out, that's about 3 foot of growth this year from a pencil-sized stick, and now it's more like, at least twice that, maybe 3 times. Then on this side, here's the one that was kind of slanted. It took well, grew out about 2/3 of what the other one did. Not quite the same caliber, didn't get as much growth, but that was my way of using a shotgun approach. If I failed at one, I'd succeed at the other. And so then what I'd do is I'll put a cage like that around, and I figured out that even this mesh isn't good enough to keep a rabbit, little baby, from squeezing through there, so I had to come back with chicken wire. Now here's what I'm talking about where they spread. It's bone dry out here, but there's one coming up, and then there's yet another one. So obviously I don't need these two to grow my tree, so I'll come back in the spring when I see them start greening up. I'll go ahead and take those out, get myself another tree. So I've got, I don't know what, I think I have 14 of them in this little planting, and they're probably going to get about 12 feet tall, and then I'll keep them from growing up anymore. And how a person would do that with Jujube pruning, let's say you take this off right here above that node, this will stop upward growth. It will only come out here, and this thing will grow and grow and grow, probably till it hits the ground and breaks. And once any damage happens to that branch, then this will continue to go back up. So if you want to just prune it and keep it lower, you have to cut this and that, and then you'll get one that comes back up again the next year, and you can kind of repeat that process. If you want to stop it and make it go sideways, you just take that one out, and this dormant bud will not come into play. That branch will just continue to grow. So it's a little bit different pruning a jujube than other trees, and I can't say I know a whole lot about it because this is just my second year now growing them out. But anyway, that's about what I had for y'all on jujube. If you got any questions, I'd give them a shot. Thank you.